August 8th, 2017. No better place, no better time to be right here and right now, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's time for the Right Side of Campus. I'll be your host today, Donnie Rightside, my partner in crime, as usual, the big man on campus, at Jeff Nadeau on Twitter. Jeff, big day, Major League Baseball. What do you say we get after it, buddy?
Welcome in, Donnie. Yep, looking forward to it. Big baseball card. Off a night where we only had 7 games. Not a ton to get and wet your whistle with, but a lot of games. Full card, Donnie. Let's jump into it.
No, exciting. And getting back there, Jeff, mining the diamond as I see some things on SBR coming back. There was only 7 games last night, Jeff. I know you only had one play. How'd it turn out for you?
Yeah, I had a winner, which, I told you last night. I think I forget where I was when I said it, but look, the card last night was really bad. I mean, there was not a lot to look forward to there. I took the Cubs team total over, which against lefties just been an easy money wager. I know you got the job done as well. So for mining the diamond, we really avoided a lot of the mines and were able to get 2 winners last night.
No, a lot of good stuff there. I went with the Cardinals. And again, going back to Sunday, sitting in the airport in Miami, sitting down having some lunch, Jeff, looked up. I was up 3-0 after a Votto home run. There was bases loaded, nobody out. I said, hey, look at this, man. I'm going to have a nice day here while I'm on a plane, win a little bit of cake. Maybe they'll bust 6 to 7 runs off Wainwright in the first inning. Didn't happen. I got smoked in that game. So, Jeff, what does a capper do? Goes back and says, you know what, Cardinals? You bucked me yesterday. I'm going to back you today. Nice, easy, clean, no stress winner. It's the way we like to start off the week.
Yeah.
And I know, Jeff, you did the same thing as well. Both having very nice August as we get and just trying to stay, engaged in Major League Baseball, Jeff. And we know this Thursday night, number one, late night on campus, having a night out at the ballpark. We'll have some fun. But, Jeff, let's not forget, there's a football team also in action on Thursday night, and that season is right on the horizon, big man.
Yeah, I am looking forward to it. We mentioned the night at the ballpark last night. We're going to take one of the listeners. We're going to take, some friends of ours to the game. So looking forward to that. But, yeah, I mean, football's upon us, Donnie. Again, first preseason game, not always the most exciting. You're going to see a lot of replay, guys that probably won't make the team. But, again, can always record that. But, yeah, football's upon us, just about keeping your head above water. You don't have to bet every day. Rich, that would be correct. Unfortunately, though, we have customers that want picks, so we can't go 3-4 days without putting games.
Yeah, I skipped 2 games last week when I really didn't have too much on the docket. But last night I did see a little bit of an angle in that Cincinnati or the St. Louis game, and we went for it, so it worked out.
And that's the thing. I mean, with 7 games, there was still something there. Though overall, I'm glad we didn't have to do a show on it because it would have been a short, boring show. But again, interested in what we're doing today. Armin Hinojosa, curious over-under on Dodger wins since Cutler was signed. I got to tell you, I think Jay Cutler is going to be just fine in Miami. I really do.
I don't see a bump higher or lower in that, Jeff, honestly.
Again, I mean, is he Ryan Tannehill? No, but again, Ryan Tannehill is a very average quarterback. He's a guy that doesn't surprise me if he gets benched during the year. He's just not that good. He's average at best. We seem to forget, guys. Look, is Jay Cutler inaccurate? Is he kind of an irritating guy off the field? Yes, he doesn't seem like he cares. But at the end of the day, he's a much better option than a lot of the options in the NFL. It's tough to find a quarterback. And for them to find Jay Cutler on the scrap heap, I think it's a pretty good grab for Miami. Look, are they going to beat New England? No, but they weren't going to beat New England with Tannehill, so it doesn't really matter to me. Cutler will do a fine job, I have a feeling.
Amen, Jeff. Major League Baseball card still in full effect. Full game slate today. There are some of what I like to call false flags. We're going to hashtag that. And Jeff, we got to get some T-shirts up with the false flag and wear them for the show. But there are a few today, not huge ones, but we'll see as the day goes on. Some lineups come out. What's up, brother?
My boy, he makes shirts. He's like he designs shirts and stuff. So I'm gonna get in touch with him. I'm gonna maybe get like 100 T-shirts. Hashtag false flag on the back. SBR's logo or something.
Yeah, we need to put in get a patent on that so we can make some money on that as we go along.
I'm all in.
All right, let's get right to the baseball card, Jeff. A complete lineup today as we'll go down. There's no afternoon baseball action, so it makes it very easy for me and Jeff just to roll right through the rotations. And we're going to start it right off the bat here. 9:01, 9:02, 7:05 p.m. Eastern time start. 26%, Jeff, backing the road team here with the Miami Marlins. Over-under opened up at 10, currently 10 across the board. There is a little bit of movement if we take a look at the overall line action. Chris opened up at -148, now sitting at 150. Bet Online 140, Pinnacle 144. So there's some slight movement, but not a lot of tickets in here. Last time they went up, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, But the Marlins and Washington played a reversal in Miami, where Vance Worley was fantastic in that game versus Cole. If we take a look at the season totals, to take a look at some of these pitches, we all know Vance Worley struggles on the road. 8.21 ERA. Last couple starts, based on that Washington game, a 4.29 ERA. So you know what you get with him, which usually is not very good, just worked out for me in the past. With Cole, Jeff, 4.91 ERA through 2 starts. Young kids, got some good stuff, but can you trust him in this spot? He is laying 150 here, so kind of a nice price if you're looking for an underdog in this situation.
Yeah, you look at Worley over his career, kind of a journeyman. He's been with a lot of different teams, and he's really kind of been everywhere. But you got to look at this and be impressed with what he did in his last outing. Absolutely immaculate. I mean, didn't give up a run, faced the minimum batters over those 7 innings. Really, one of the better performances I've seen from an unlikely candidate this year, shutting down the Nats the way he did. Yeah, I gotta be honest. Not really sure I understand this line. Again, I know it's the Nationals, but again, AJ Cole, not exactly a guy I'm looking to lay over $1.50 with. He had a bad start in that game against Miami. And look, Miami's lineup's no shitty lineup. I mean, this is a good group with some good hitters. Ozuna and Stanton and Yelich, plenty of good options. Boer and Real Muto. At this price,
is Boer, by the way, Jeff, is Boer back yet off the DL? Or is he still out?
You
might have been backed up the past couple weeks, but when he does get back,
I could have sworn he was in, but good call. I don't believe he's in. But either way, a very good lineup for the Miami Marlins. The way I'd go in this game, I mean, call me crazy. Last game was a real slobber knocker of a game. Really not a lot of offense, kind of boring, kind of surprising. Manny Gonzalez behind the plate tonight, 13 of his 17 up games this year have gone over. I'm going to look to go over here. I think this is a kind of a palm box type of game, a lot of runs. I don't think these guys will be nearly as good as they were in the first.
If we keep it moving here, Jeff, San Diego and Cincinnati, 903, 904 on your rotation. It's going to be Perdomo and Romano, 53%, roughly 50-50 ticket split, I would say, with the Reds being the favorite here. Opened up at Chris minus 135 at 137 now currently. Good friends at Bet Online, Jeff, minus 139. Pinnacles at minus 135. So you're getting a decent price if you're looking to go with Cincinnati here as the home favorite. Over-under opened up at 9.5, Jeff, but a little bit of line movement downwards to a 9 in this game. If you look mostly looking at Reds games, more tendencies to go over than not. But again, San Diego on the road, sometimes you don't quite know what you get. Both bullpens not very good. San Diego on the road, Jeff, is a bullpen, 4.98. Home games for Cincinnati, a 3.97 bullpen, so they might be able to get after it a little bit later in the game. Perdomo on the road, Jeff, 4.57 ERA. If we take a look at Sal, Fasano, Romano, 6.23 ERA through 3 games at home. But however, if you take a look at just his last 3 games, Jeff, a 2.87 ERA, got touched up a little bit in his last start, but the 2 before that was very good. Leaning one way or another in this one, the way the money is looking, not too much tickets there. Only 1,200 tickets have been registered yet. I don't really have much in this game, but it's one of those things, Jeff, it's always tough to take Cincinnati as a favorite because you don't know what you get. But then again, San Diego going on the road, that same battlefield you're going to have to fight on.
Yeah, and when you're looking at Cincinnati, I mean, worst team ERA in baseball by a pretty wide margin. I mean, 26 points worse than the New York Mets. This team has been an absolute mess from a pitching standpoint. And look, when you're laying 143 with Salvatore Romano, you really should consider what you're doing. I mean, I don't know that even in false flag territory, I'm not sure I would ever do this. We saw it on Sunday. The Cincinnati Reds have a weird way of defying every piece of logic possible and losing games. I mean, you look at Sunday, 90% of the money was on St. Louis, but the line dropped, 30 cents, Donnie? It was a clear false flag on St. Louis. You should have took Cincinnati. You should have backed Homer Bailey. And we've seen that, Donnie, on Sundays over the last couple weeks. Homer Bailey goes on Sundays. He somehow goes off as a favorite and gets whitewashed seemingly every week. The false flag definition is not involved with the Reds at all. But again, don't want to back a team in San Diego who's 20-35 on the road. They've come back to earth, only hitting. They're back to not hitting again, which is no surprise from this team. Will Myers has struggled. Perdomo's been hit hard lately. This is a pass for me. I have no interest in backing this game. I will point out, if you're laying 145 with the Reds, I would look elsewhere.
Jeff, next game up here, the Philadelphia Phillies are going to welcome a gas can back into the equation. That's going to be Zach Eflin versus home team, Atlanta Braves, Julio Teheran. Yeah, welcome back. 66% are back in the home team in Teheran. A -170 now showing at Chris Jeff, -161 at Bet Online. And we all know the struggles that Teheran does have at home. But even in his last 3 games, Jeff, an 8.44 ERA for Teheran. I know you can't obviously look at the last 3 starts for Zach Eflin, but last time he showed his face, Jeff, in May, let's take a look here. 4 innings, 11 hits, 7 earned runs. Versus Colorado, 6 innings, 10 hits, 8 earned runs. You say, all right, we're going to come back home again after the Colorado game. Let's go Cincinnati. 5 innings, 9 hits, 7 earned runs. Hopefully he learned something in minor league baseball. It's going to help him out. I'm not trusting it because, Jeff, we all know that bandbox down there in Atlanta at SunTrust. If you're not hitting your location, that ball is going to fly all over that yard. So if we take a look at the total in this one, 9.5, I think that's set and priced right. Which Teheran will you get? He hasn't been great all season, but then again, are you laying, Jeff, 170 with the Atlanta Braves? Come on.
Yeah, Teheran's a weird pitcher. I mean, he coming into, even his last 2 starts against the Phillies, he was very good in his career against the Phillies. Had a lot of success against this lineup, but you look at over his last 2 starts against the Phillies, I mean, 8 2/3, 17 hits, 14 earned runs. He's been absolutely jumped on against the Phillies, which doesn't make a lot of sense. The Braves just can't beat the Phillies either, Donnie. They've lost 9 of 11 against the Philadelphia Phillies, which you look at, not a lot of success for the Phils, but against Atlanta, they've had some good fortune this year. But Zach Eflin's on the hill, and if you know me, before he went on the DL, Donnie, or when he got sent down, I poured a drink out for him. He was a guy I loved to fade. I don't think Zach Eflin has any business in the major leagues. He's a guy that I'm looking to always bet against, but you're right. It's hard to lay this kind of price with Teheran because it's truly all about what Teheran will show up. For me, you know what's great about the Phillies, Donnie? You always know that even if their starter goes 6 innings, gives up 3 runs, their bullpen's going to blow it up. And at the end of the day, Pat Neshek is gone. He's not in that bullpen anymore. So, again, not a lot to worry about there. And you look at Eflin. When he was in the major leagues, opponents at 314 off him, right-handers at 326. Look for a lot of righties in that Atlanta lineup tonight. I would look team total over 5 here at plus 105. It's a little high, but I get a feeling the Atlanta Braves put up maybe a crooked number. I would almost be looking to maybe take a flyer out and hope Teheran throws well in this game, maybe lay the 1.5. I think the Braves get a little retribution tonight. I'm not thinking Eflin will be good here.
Now, Jeff, this is one of those games where by the 3rd inning, am I getting a text from you saying, look at Eflin out here, 3 innings.
Well, no, hey, Donnie, that's very possible for sure. I will say this, though. Like I said, I'm not exactly concerned. Again, could Zach Eflin be great tonight? Sure. We've seen that a lot with people getting beat. You look at Pruitt in his last outing over Tampa Bay. I mean, didn't give up a run against Houston. I mean, no one thought that, but there's just not a lot of move in this line, so it doesn't really signify to me that we have something shaky here. I mean, this looks like a Braves line. This looks like they don't want any action on the Braves. I mean, exactly.
Yeah, no, exactly. I completely agree with you. It's a game that I'm not interested in taking Philadelphia here. And you know me, Jeff, I'm certainly not interested in laying 170. The next game, though, is very interesting to me, probably yourself as well. 907, 908. Kenta Maeda versus Zach Godley, 60-40 split in tickets with 60% of the public going with the road team here, the Los Angeles Dodgers. The one interesting thing we're going to go over in just a few moments with some statistics here. Over under, Jeff, opened up at 9.5, and has been bet down to 9. If you take a look at the side here, slight favorite to the Dodgers, opened up at 121 at Chris, now sits at 132. Bet online still showing in the 125 range there, Jeff. Also, if we slide it down, 130 at 5 dimes, 130 at Sportsbook. So you're going to get that value there if you're looking for the Dodgers, but this is a battle of 2 really hot pitchers, Jeff. Last 3 games for Maeda, 1.06 ERA. Look at Godley, 1.93 ERA. The one question I have, Jeff, maybe for us and the listeners, is if you're looking at 2 guys that can pitch really well, I get they can both hit both of these teams. Both bullpens, decent bullpens. We know how good the Dodger bullpen is. Is 9 in play here, Jeff, to maybe take an under with the way both of these guys are pitching? Or in this environment, hitter's ballpark, are they just going to be able to get off on that? Because we talk time and time again how good that Dodgers bullpen is shutting it down. I can see a 4-3 type ball game here. How about you on that?
And these are the two best pitching staffs in baseball from an ERA standpoint. Both these teams have been extremely good as far as from the over rotation. But I do give a slight lean clearly to the Dodger bullpen. But you're right, Donnie. I have a feeling this is like a 4-3, maybe even a 5-3 type of game. I think 9 is just a little too high. I do want to shout out Maeda, who, I mean, you look at his ERA. I mean, he's at 4. I mean, he hasn't been unbelievable. He struggled at times. But, Donnie, you look at his record, which I know it's not a big thing. I don't really care too much about that. But 13-4. I mean, from all the struggles he's had, I heard people saying he should be sent down at one point. He had struggled early in the year, but he's since come on. Last 3 starts, an ERA just above 1, a WHIP below 1. He's been really good, and Godley's been really kind of one of those newcomers of the year, Donnie. Really impressive stuff from this guy. This was a guy last year that I think a lot of people look to fade every 5th day. He has been one of their better pitchers, really an anomaly for the Arizona Diamondbacks. You look at Arizona, look, are they a good team at home? Yes, but they're struggling to hit right now. Dodgers, for the record for them, they're only hitting 245 over the last week or so. I think you have a great point here. I think the under looks like a pretty good play here. I just don't see more than 9 runs here.
Yeah, no, we'll see what happens in that one. Keeping it moving down the list, Jeff.
Hey, Donnie,
yeah, what's up, man?
One other thing with Arizona.
Yeah.
For me here, again, I do understand the likelihood of betting against the Dodgers here, but and Godley does not even a 13-inning scoreless streak. That's one thing
He does. No, he does. Yeah.
But the Dodgers are just, they're not a buzzsaw I'm looking to get in front of. They're also 10-1 this year with a day off, which is fairly unbelievable. So yeah, tough side here. I think, Donnie, you hit the nail on the head. The under looks like a good play here.
Yeah, both these teams should battle it out down the stretch. Next up, Jeff, 10:15 Eastern time start, obviously 7 p.m. Pacific. Taking a look at Quintana versus Block in this one, 78% backing the road team here, Cubs. Just seems like that's the theme that's going to be underway over the rest of the baseball season, just heavy favorites for the Chicago Cubs. But again, it's not even about a Cubs here in this situation, Jeff. It's just how bad San Francisco, how fall they have fallen. One of the tweets that I saw, which I'm probably going to misquote by accident here, is a team slugging percentage of 500 for the Houston Astros as a team. San Francisco, Jeff, doesn't have a single guy over 40 at-bats with a 500 slugging percentage. If you really take the time to think about that, that is one of the most amazing stats I've seen in a fall from grace for the San Francisco Giants. In the matchup tonight, 180 on the road there for Chicago at Chris, 173 at Bet Online, 175 at 5 Dimes. You're going to have to lay a heavy nut in this one to get by. An over-under total of 8 in this one. Quintana's road starts 3.56 ERA. Blocks hasn't been bad. 3.82 at home this year. But again, can you get anything out of betting the San Francisco Giants? I know they're a heavy underdog in this one, but sometimes the price just doesn't match up with the quality that you're going to get. Right now, Jeff, San Francisco, to me, it's not even a bet on team. I don't even care if there's a false flag anywhere in that equation. The same thing I tweeted out last night being with the San Francisco Giants. All the numbers lined up if you're a contrarian. But sometimes you have to look at the team. Like, I don't care how contrarian that viewpoint is, Jeff. It's just not going to work. And I'm not interested in the Giants at this point.
A 377 slugging percentage for
unbelievable
for the Giants. I mean, dead last by a wide margin. You mentioned Houston; they're at 502. So yeah, you're right with that. They just don't have a lineup to be concerned with. And where would this team be if they didn't have Buster Posey on this team? I mean, he's the only good player on this team by a wide margin. I mean, Hunter Pence is okay, but other than that, I mean, you really have literally nothing here. Donnie, for me, I mean, I'm not gonna try and break what's not meant to be broke. I'm gonna go back to the same bet. I mean, team total over
lefty
Cubs. I mean, they keep putting 4.5 out there. I don't really understand it. Is Block better than Matt Moore? Yes, but you look at the Cubs, 19-7 against lefties this year, hitting 283 and scoring 6.3 runs per game. I will say this, Quintana, he's been inconsistent. I mean, if the Cubs think that just because they added Quintana, they're going to become a playoff team all of a sudden and win games, I think they're sorely mistaken. Quintana's been really inconsistent this year, really just hasn't figured it out. And Block has been very good since July 1st, a 3.34 ERA, pretty good for the most part. Yeah, let's try to stop grass for straws and acting like the Giants have decent players. They're not any good. They stink. Their slugging percentage is fucking disgraceful. They don't get on base. They don't score runs. They're just an absolutely dreadful franchise this year. For me, Cubs team total over 4.5 whenever they face a lefty, preferably at home. But when you can get that type of ballpark, Donnie, where the wind blows certain ways and stuff,
Yep.
team total over 4.5 for the Cubs here.
Which, by the way, Jeff, that 5, I know it ended up at 5 for the Cubs last night. Didn't you get that pretty early by like the 5th inning? So it was like, you didn't.
Yes, got in the 5th inning. It was over. Yeah, right when we ended the show. It was they were at bat, and the inside the Parker helped. But yeah, I didn't really care about it. Once it won, I was whatever.
Yeah, Jeff, you always like you get the day after comment like, well, Jeff, you barely won that team.
I always like that. And the great Al DeMarco. I don't know if anyone knows Al DeMarco, old school handicapper.
Yeah.
He would always say, I still watch his videos to this day. He always says, when you go to the ticket cage and you win by half a point or you win by 50 points, doesn't change how your money gets paid out. So
unless it's a lightning bet, Jeff, clarify that.
Oh, sure, which Vegas won't do. But by the way, if you're actually someone out there, and this is the point I want to make, if you're actually someone out there that gets on someone because they win a baseball game by half of a run, you got to look at what you're doing in life. I mean, really, half of runs are huge in baseball, Donnie. I mean, run's a big thing in baseball.
Yeah, there's usually between 1 and 9 of them in a game. So you're right, man.
I mean, don't be that guy. Look, if you constantly win games by half a point, I'm going to come to you and say, wow, you should play the fucking lottery. You've been on fire for last week. But again, half a run in baseball is a big thing. So I'll take it any day of the week.
Yep. Jeff, next up might be a possible false flag indicator here. We're going to go up to, as they like to say, Toronto, Canada, and check this game out, Jeff. New York Yankees.
It's Toronto.
I like to say, now that I'm schooled with Ian, Gabe, and the Canadians up there, even Stucci close to, I believe is he from Indianapolis, I think? Something up there. So as we like to say it now, Jeff, Toronto. So we'll get that straight. Anyway, getting back to the game. Sabathia Happ, Jeff, 69% of the public out there backing your New York Yankees. Line opens up at Chris at -109. What's it sit at now, Jeff? -125. How about our friends at BetOnline, Jeff? -127. All that action in, peeling back. Now, here's where I want to break this game down, Jeff, which I believe the last time we had this whole CC Sabathia thing come up is let's isolate CC Sabathia. You're obviously going pitcher versus pitcher. If we take a look at the bullpen, I don't think, Jeff, you're even going to get an argument out of anybody who had the better bullpen is the Yankees. CC Sabathia now is barely a 5-inning pitcher. So why do you even care about the full game if you're betting the Yankees or if you're going to go against the Yankees? Just isolate him in this situation. What I hope is that the dome is open in Toronto, maybe let in a little bit of humidity in there, let in a little bit of, wind movement or whatever to throw him off. He's no longer, to me, a Major League Baseball pitcher. So I know it's the New York Yankees. I know they hit. I know Toronto's not very good and all that. But if we isolate this game, Jeff,
you can't.
How can you be
comments?
With what?
Really? I mean, the guy's got a 3.81 ERA and 18 starts, Donnie.
Yeah, he's trash. If you watch his starts, it's pure smoke and mirrors.
Listen, I hear you. Smoke. I mean, Donnie, but I think you got to give the guy a little respect. I mean, he's been very good this year. I mean, on the road, he's been absolutely sparkling. I hear what you're saying about his physical stature. Again, I still find it interesting that you don't get on guys. I mean, I think he's in way better shape than Cologne. I mean, Christ. Have you seen Cologne? I mean, God. He looks like a fucking –
Yeah, but if you look at CC starts, though, Jeff, let's just go back to mid-June. 4 innings, 2 innings, 6 innings, 5, 4, 6. Like, he doesn't carry it. All I'm saying is that you're looking to bet Toronto full game, why not just isolate Sabathia? Sure. Because the arms in that bullpen for the Yankees are going to neutralize bats for other good teams because they have guys that they can fire each inning there.
No, I hear you. And again, I listen, if we're actually talking about, do we think the Yankees are going to win the World Series with guys like CC Sabathia in their rotation? I would agree with you. I'm not interested in talking about that. But I do, as a Yankee fan, give credence to, hey, this guy's done this for the whole year at least. I mean, Tanaka has been very difficult to trust. At least we've gotten 18 starts from him, and they've been fairly good. As far as the weather, 75 degrees, 40% humidity out in Toronto, low wind. So, again, I don't know that, it's not 90 degrees and 70% humidity. But you're right. This line doesn't make any sense. I'm going to look under, to be honest, Donnie.
Mm-hmm.
I think 9's too high. 9.5's too high.
Yeah.
This Yankee lineup, other than Sunday, has looked absolutely lost from the plate. Aaron Judge, I mean, I know he had a home run on Sunday, but he's been absolutely horrible. Toronto's been terrible against lefties all year. Both these guys have good numbers against the opposition. You look at Happ, Donnie, in 13 starts this year, 9 have gone under. 12 of 18 CC starts have gone under. So for me, I'm going to look under 9.5. I think the only concern we have is I hope Happ can go 6-7 innings here, because that Toronto bullpen is concerning. But I think this is a pretty low-scoring game.
Yeah, somebody was asking how Happ has done versus the Yankees, which I don't really take into play because he hasn't faced them this year. But the last 3 starts over last year, Jeff, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 7 2/3, 1 earned run. So he has dominated the Yankees. But again, I don't look at any of that. I don't even care about that.
I mean, you look at the last time these guys played, it was actually on July 4th, and it was the same pitching matchup, 4-1 Toronto.
Yeah.
Yankees just couldn't hit Happ. So, and his last couple of starts have been very good against the Yankees. So I look under. I think 9.5 is a little too high.
Yep. No, I would agree with you in that situation, but I'm just, on that CC fade train and
sure.
The line, the way it looks, So let's keep it moving down the list, Jeff. Boston, Tampa Bay, Sale Pruitt on the mound, 2,600. Tickets have been tracked here, Jeff, 83%. Again, is that a surprise? Probably not. Are backing the road team here with the Boston Red Sox, opened up -200. Line actually climbing a little bit, Jeff. Bet online now at -205. Over under opened at 7.5. How about this, Jeff? Take it back old school. A 7 over under, widely available throughout the betting markets at this point. If we take a look at some simple statistics here, Chris Sale on the road, 12 starts, 2.60 ERA. You really have to pick your spots when you're trying to fade Chris Sale or get it in and out of that. If we look at Pruitt, Jeff, 3 games he started, 3.14 ERA. He's keeping his teams in ball game. Is this one where we talk about, Jeff, going down to Tampa Bay, how well they play at home, sneaky little environment there? I know Chris Sale is a really, really good pitcher, and especially being a very good pitcher on the road. Pruitt untested. I'm not interested in laying 200 as that number in that one. I'm also not really interested in going against aces. But if you said, Donnie, you had to bet this game here, I'm probably looking at Tampa Bay, maybe even something on the run line, taking a +1 or +1.5 just to get a little bit of value. But as I said, I'm really not interested in this game one way or another here, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you like Tampa Bay, you might want to just look at the over. I mean, if they're going to hit Sale, you'd probably be venturing to think that Boston will hit Pruitt. This is an interesting game because, Donnie, Sale's off a really poor outing. I mean, one of the poorest outings of his career, really, in that wild game against the Cleveland Indians. Pruitt off an absolutely amazing performance against Houston. So you got to figure that people will regress to the mean here, and Sale will get back to his normal Sale stuff. I actually look the other way. I would consider the run line here for the Red Sox. Great bullpen. You figure Sale's going to go pretty deep in this game. I think Pruitt will come back to earth a little bit here. And Boston is a bet on bullpen for me. They're a team that I'm more interested in the bullpen than most. I like the fact that I can lay runs right now with Boston and feel confident. They've won 7 of 8. They're scoring some runs all of a sudden. And Chris Sale is a gamer to me. He's a guy that comes off to me as, I don't know if you saw him, Donnie, after that performance. He was not – he was throwing things. I love his energy and passion. I thought, he just comes across to me as a guy that loves to win and loves to do well, and I like people like that. So for me, I would lay the run line here with Boston. I think, Donnie, I said to you last night, I was wondering where this line would go. I was wondering if I'd wake up and see, 170. And then it's just me have to bet Pruitt here. But, again, it doesn't make that sense. It's hung around. It's actually went up since last night. The run line for me looks like a bounce back spot for Sale here.
Yeah, Rich Banks says, when are we getting you guys on ESPN? I want to invest in it shortly. Me and Jeff will make our Sports Center appearance tomorrow afternoon, 6 p.m. So
I got to tell you, and this is no disrespect to the worldwide leader. This is no disrespect to any national media.
They could be watching now, ready to sign the check, and you're going to blow them up?
This should be no disrespect to anyone in this business.
Okay, there we go. About to be disrespected. Go ahead.
Anyone. There is no one in this business that can do what I do or you do.
Oh, sit now. Wait, now, come on. Come on. Oh, my gosh.
There isn't. I could talk about anything on Standpoint, Donnie. That's all I'm going to say.
Look at that. You left me out again. You did this in the live chat when we were down in Costa Rica.
I didn't do this in the live chat.
Are you leaving? Do you have like a signed sealed delivered where you're out of here? You already got something set up behind the scenes?
Damn. No, I'm saying that I love doing this show on SBRforum.com. I love SBR, and I love doing these shows. And I'm glad we're getting our ability and shine to do it, Donnie.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, let's keep it down, Jeff. One of the teams that are very interesting heading down the stretch, not making very many moves at the deadline, it's going to be your Houston Astros. They're going to take it on the road here to go against the Chicago White Sox. Battle the lefties on the mound, Jeff. 87% are backing Dallas Keuchel on the road. The one interesting thing about Keuchel, we all know his season stats, Jeff, but coming back from the DL, going over his numbers, 3 innings, 3 earned runs, followed by 5 innings and 3 earned runs. 2 back-to-back starts where it hasn't really looked like himself. And if you take a look at the number here, Jeff, minus 257 on the road. I get that the White Sox stink. I can't stand betting the White Sox. I don't believe in betting the White Sox basically with what they run out there, starting pitcher, starting lineup, and bullpen-wise. But a pitcher that might not be on the mend here, Jeff, laying a 257 with an over-under of 9.5, sounds like a little bit dangerous territory, even if you're going to just include them in parlays here.
Yeah, and by the way, Donnie and I are a tag team. We would never I don't want to ever not be on shows with Donnie. I think our chemistry is fantastic. No, I'm not going to. I've done shows before on my own, and it's not fun. It's hard to do. You've done them too, Donnie.
Yeah.
Show for an hour with no calls, and you just have to talk for an hour.
All by yourself. Yep, absolutely.
It's definitely tough. And it's not that fun either. It's kind of boring. As far as this game, Donnie, I hear what you're saying, but is there any more of a discrepancy in teams than these two? I mean,
no,
again,
you're right.
They're all Major League Baseball teams at the end of the day, but I mean, you can look at the White Sox lineup and say, I mean, this is a AAA team, to be really honest. I mean, there's no one in this rotation that is concerning. There's no one in this lineup that's concerning. I mean, Jose Abreu is just another guy all of a sudden. Todd Frazier's not walking through the door. They don't have any high-level players in this team. You look at Houston, Donnie, and they're just a polar opposite of what these teams are.
Yep.
Since the All-Star break, the White Sox have won 3 games. In 22 games, they've won 3 times. They've lost 6 in a row. They've lost 11 of 13. Then you look at Houston, 71-40. They're 38-15 on the road. They're hitting 300 and scoring over 7 runs a game on the road. That's just on the road. And Donnie, the stats of the day, listen to this. Derek Holland, last 51 2/3. He's given up, Donnie, take a guess at how many runs?
1 million?
50 earned runs.
Jesus, man.
In 51 innings.
Yeah.
18 home runs in 51 innings. And his OPS, his allowed OPS, 1,058 in 51 innings.
But he likes to joke around in the dugout, though, so that makes it okay for him. So
opponents in June at 385 off Derek Holland. In July, 320. How is this guy still pitching in the major leagues?
I think it's evident the organization that he's with. What do they do? I really think that they just want to get through the season, if that makes sense. Like, they don't even have anything to play for. 9, if they have a starting 9 out there, most people never heard of 7 of them. It's amazing. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's I mean, again, AAA Charlotte is their major league affiliate at AAA. I'd probably rather watch them at this point. The Charlotte Knights, I'd rather watch over this team. Pathetic. As far as the line here, though, yeah, I mean, Keuchel should really dominate here. But this is a line I don't lay. I mean, to even get a run line here, you got to lay 155. So for me, just as a stay away.
Yeah, next up here, Jeff, 917, 918, Seattle and Oakland, Miranda and Graveman. Welcome back, Graveman, on the DL. So you say, hey, man, had a lot of time off. He's a decent young pitcher. I bet he did really well. You know, he was going against San Francisco. They can't hit anybody. Jeff, 2 innings, 8 hits, 7 earned runs. Not something I really want to back here, but Oakland, we always talk about sneaky little team at home matching up today versus Miranda and Seattle. If we get a look at some numbers, 32%, Jeff, are backing the home team here, Oakland Athletics. But the line is obviously going in a Seattle direction, and why not? you don't really know what you're going to get out of Miranda, or I should say Graveman. But at this point, are you trusting the Oakland Athletics in any way? A more professional lineup, obviously coming from Seattle side, a better bullpen coming from Seattle side. And tonight, I actually think, even though Miranda's on the road, he is the better pitcher here. If we take a look at, if you say value, I like the way the line's going, 106 to 121. It's a decent, play maybe to bounce on the Mariners here. I would have to see some lineups, but again, one of those teams, Jeff's, the have and the have-nots. Miranda stinks on the road. I get it. 5.83. And you say, well, Graveman's been good at home through 4 starts. I mean, that was way back. He's coming off the same type of thing that Dallas Keuchel's looking at. Can he rehab? Can he rebound while in play? I don't trust those type of situations. If I'm betting here, I'll go square. And I would go the Seattle Mariners because I'm just not really interested in the Athletics at this point, Jeff.
He was crushed in that outing last game. I mean, 2 innings, gave up 7 runs. And I'm sorry, but I'm just not interested in backing a guy with shoulder issues. You're a pitcher. You need your shoulder to pitch. Again, I know it's fairly rudimentary to think that way, but I'm not too high on the A's. I've never been too high. I think they have one of the worst lineups in baseball. They're just really not an interest to me. Their bullpen is a complete shell of what it once was. Look, to be honest, I mean, Miranda, I don't know if you know this, Don, but he's the only pitcher for Seattle that's made every start this year.
Healthy. Yep.
Yeah, they've been pretty beat up in the bullpen, but I don't trust him on the road either. I like the over in this game. I think we see some runs here. Seattle, definitely a team that, has an interesting bullpen as well. I think this is one of the higher scoring games of the day, honestly.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in that one. But again, Oakland at home, in that sneaky environment, I get it. But I'm just not looking to back a baseball team of that caliber at this point, especially in the season where it's not really about winning and losing. It's about bringing up some new guys, trying some new things out. So I hear you on that one, Jeff. Next up on the docket. Yeah, what's up, brother?
By the way, from what I understand, Paul Feinbaum and McShay were just talking about Manziel at the IFBC.
There you go.
Which
International Football Betting Conference is worldwide.
I'm happy to see it because I love Paul Feinbaum. He's one of my favorite people in this business overall. So it's pretty sweet that SBR is on my favorite. Do you like Feinbaum, by the way, Tony?
I do. I like football. You know what I mean? That's to break it down. I can, if the show was on, could I watch it? Yes, I could. He's a little bit dry and
I like him just because.
But I like his overall. What's the word? Not shtick, but like his gruffiness.
I like him just because he's a really big involvement with callers. I mean, he ton of callers, takes, and involves the audience a ton. So yeah, I like Feinbaum. I'm happy to see SBR, amazing stuff. Again, we talked a lot about the IFBC, just a great event. I did like the movie you made after, the little video. Where it was
very sweet. It was very heartfelt, Jeff.
Where you fuckers again took a shot at me. Only kidding.
They brought in the big man on campus.
I thought that was funny. I mean, I was really, when I saw that, I'm like, wow, this is funny. Good stuff, Donnie, and SBR was fantastic.
No, I think the mission was accomplished is probably the best word to say. He brought down some talent down there, reverberated around. It was a first-class thing, and already playing the next one. Hey, exactly. I was there. I mean, I don't know why ESPN's not picking up that I was there. You know what I mean? Or TMZ saying there might be a break up there. Donnie was at the IPC. Big man stayed home. They could have put that on TMZ like one of those things.
Yeah. Where was the big man? That was the question.
Trouble, TMZ, trouble in paradise. Donnie goes down Rica without the big man.
Or where was Paul Howard and Teddy Covers? Why wasn't he there?
Exactly.
Is there trouble in Vegas break? By the way, Donnie, already talks of next year, IPC at March Madness, which
now, Jeff, I know college. You're not very in tune with college basketball, are you?
I'm not. I'm not in tune. I actually might take a whole month off and go down to SBR at that point. I might just sleep in the office. But
Jeff, it's true to my philosophy. If it is going to be in March, I finally start betting college basketball once March Madness tips off. I take a few months off. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you don't bet it. So when we're down there in March, you still won't have any players. Donnie, I do want to say this. So this is everyone. This is your opportunity. If I fucking hear one of you guys saying, I didn't get enough time to figure this out. I mean, it's August 8th. So March is what? 7 months away, I think. Mm-hmm. Make sure you're there, okay? I've already went and made the necessary things that I need to do to make sure I can get this stuff going. And I hope, Donnie, by March, I've went to Costa Rica 2 or 3 times by then.
You know what's interesting about that, Jeff, coming up? I would assume, too, since, you always remember your first, as I like to say. The people that came down there, I bet you they even have a leg up on going again if they have contests or free stuff. So kudos to you if you came down and put the time in and showed your love for SBR, because it's probably going to pay off in the future for you as well. So congrats on that.
Ian has Chinese eyes. Donnie had deer in the headlight eyes. Wow. Russ is taking shots, Donnie. Get Russ out of here.
Is that Russ or Ross Benjamin? Who is that?
That's Ross Benjamin. Yes, actually, he's acting like his name is Russ. It's actually Ross Benjamin. Hey, Ross.
Jeff, I do get scared when I'm talking in big environments. You see me like struggle in the shows daily, when I'm down there. It's big. And the best part about that is I always get a laugh, which me and Drew had another laugh again, when all my notes are on the computer and on the internet. And the minute the show starts, it's off. And look at that. Jeff, I could have froze like a deer. Like, now we'll go right to Donnie. Oh.
You know what, Donnie? That's why I go back to saying I'm the best in the business, because it wouldn't have bothered me.
Yeah, good luck saying. What do you think about the Baltimore game tonight when you had no lines?
I know, I'm kidding. But yes, that was shitty timing for sure.
But that's where you roll through, man. You got to improvise on the spot. That's what live TV is. The teleprompter goes down, Jeff. You can't just be like this.
By the way, Donnie, speaking of baseball quickly, I know we're kind of jumping off the rail here a little bit, but you saw the kid at the Little League World Series hit the ball like 400 feet.
Jesus, no, I keep seeing that, and I want to see, like, I can't even fathom it. No, I did see it.
No,
I can't fathom where it landed.
It's hard to believe. It's like, how did a kid that age hit the ball that far?
Like, is the dude going like upper deck at like Citizens Bank with that shot? That was it was like you could have had 2 baseball fields.
Yeah, you got to figure. And that's what I saw it on Barstool last night. They were talking about that, about how, Dave Portnoy couldn't believe that kid hit it that far. And I was thinking, like, yeah, I guess if you take him to a baseball field, that's where, that was amazing. You got to wonder, though, what major leaguers would do with aluminum bats, Donnie.
No, people would die. The pitcher, they would have like a death a year from a pitcher. Like, you just,
I think they should
off his head.
I think they should bring him in. I think that'd be cool.
Get the hell. You would have to redesign every stadium. You know what I mean?
Do it. I think it'd be fun.
No, but all in all, a lot of fun and down in CR, and Jeff, college basketball guy. I can't even imagine the bet box blowing up, because we're down there just for baseball. Basically, at the end of the day, where you can bet it, I can't even imagine, waking up in the morning with basketball all day long. Would that?
Would be a fucking.
Would it be the week before March Madness, or like, are we going down for March Madness?
I don't give a fuck if it is before the week before. I'll make a 2-week trip there, cuz that would be a fucking movie, bro. Wow.
By the way, Kyle Hamburg's in here. Donnie Bag told me and Manny he needs us more in his life. Saturday nights to Sportsbook. That's pretty good. But by the way, Kyle, Manny's nickname is the Luchador. So that's what we call him here on the chat box now.
Back to this again.
Disagree. Donnie nailed it. There were other people that did look nervous. Donnie was a pro up there representing, right? Yeah, hey, look, it's not, if you let's just say you had a big presentation that you had to give out there. Big man will attest, you're in high school, you're whatever. I'm very confident with myself, with whatever, in any environment, just something that we like to do. And it comes to a lot of practice and, being in your past life, being on stage and doing stuff. But the one thing that's tough, imagine if you went up there and your projector was down when you have to give a PowerPoint presentation and it's not coming back up. The whole gist of the show up there, and again, I think it went off fairly well, was I was going to work the live chat box and bring in the listeners. It's very hard to do when you don't know who the listeners or the live chat box is. And also, odds are what I do. When me and Jeff do a show, if my monitor went down, how am I going to preview like live odds and what there's going on and show false flags? We had none of that up there. And again, live TV, you don't get that choice. Sometimes your internet doesn't work. The prompter goes down. It's just a matter of how you make it through the show and how you can present yourself. And that's exactly what we did. And again, next time we go down, I'll have good internet. We'll rock that show out. No question about it.
Plus, I'll be there. So,
Yeah, Ian's mic was going down left and right up there. It was pretty under the sea there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, doing a roundtable like with Ed and with all them guys. And it's really fun.
Yep, absolutely. Next here up on the docket, Jeff, somebody was talking Baltimore right around the break. Another guy was saying Baltimore is just, I don't even.
Oh, yeah, right. Here
now we're back to 500, big man. We're all winning money. Let's see if it continues tonight, because there is a little bit of a false flag here for me, Jeff. Jeremy Hellickson on the mound, 41% of the tickets going in Baltimore's direction. Jeff, line opened up at -120 for the Los Angeles Angels. that is dipping back down into the teens. So maybe one of those indicators, since the game's a little bit later tonight, we have to take a look at. Jeff, Hellickson's road starts, 4.31 over 10 games. Obviously, a lot of that with the Philadelphia Phillies, but that doesn't hold you back typically on ERA. Bridwell, who's been decent, 4.75 at home, 3.26 in his last 3 games. Jeff, asking me right now, I'm sort of digging on Baltimore here, buddy.
Yeah, they've won 8 of 10. I mean, how about this, Donnie? They've won 5 of 7, hitting .312 during this time. And they're hitting. I mean, just been fantastic. Angels have been hitting also. And I got to wonder at some point, will Parker Bridwell come back to earth off the cloud 9 that he's on right now? I did not think this guy would pitch this well. Maybe tonight he gets hit. Baltimore has really looked like a great lineup lately. It's a tough game. I mean, hard to lean one way or the other. I do lean Baltimore. I think their lineup is slightly better. I do trust Hellickson for the most part. Hellickson does a great job of not ever getting crushed, seemingly. He might give up 3 or 4 runs, but that's always about it. Baltimore's bullpen is tightened significantly. At an underdog price, I like them here. And I'll tell you this.
I actually like Baltimore here. I do.
And I'll tell you this. I went against them last night. I did take the Angels. I had a small play on the Angels laying that number, which Baltimore right now is just defying those things right now. And they're winning on the road all of a sudden. And Donnie, could it be? Could they be making a run here?
I doubt they're making. I mean, we always joke about it. I don't even care if they make a run. Just give me these value times because, Jeff, they're a very good hitting lineup when they're hitting. They have bullpen that when they pitch well, they're going to be a good bullpen. They just need a little bit of that starting pitching, which I don't think they have a lot of, which is the problem.
They're only 1.5 back in the wild card, Donnie.
Watch out. They're going to catch your Yankees, make you cry in your milk, right?
Look, I got to tell you, I think, and I will say this, would you agree that out of these 4 teams, who are the most likely to win the wild card? Yankees would be 1, probably, right?
I think it's go ahead. Yep,
but then you have Kansas City, Tampa Bay, and Seattle.
It's got to be the Yankees.
Yeah, Yankees and Baltimore, I feel like. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, but can Baltimore get any pitching, though? That's what I'm always worried about.
But Kansas City has no pitching either. At Seattle, I mean, other than Paxton, what the hell do they have?
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, I mean, they're going to go away, you'd imagine. They've, and Kansas City's on 7 of 10 all of a sudden. So they're going away as well. Baltimore at 8-2 over the last 10, really putting some things together here. Shout out to Dan Duquette for not selling. I mean, we kind of got on them and wondered, like, why aren't they selling? It's been a nice resurgence by this team. Yes, Donnie writes it, got Baltimore right.
Yes, there you go. Let the big man know. Let the big man know. Big man ridiculed me on the roundtable. He ridiculed me.
How about the fact that I previewed and said Arizona would be great all year? I told you the Dodgers should be a best bet all year. I told you the Cubs would suck.
Jeff, this isn't about you. This is about me right now.
Okay. So I'm going to come out and say it. Donnie Ruga right side predicted that Baltimore would resurge for 10 games out of the
now they retreat back to like 8 games under 500.
But the big question is, Donnie, will they make the playoffs?
I don't think they do. I don't think Baltimore makes the playoffs.
So how much confidence do you really have in this team?
No, the confidence is in the price they get. I want them to be 500 because I want the people to think they stink, and then you get that nice price.
You're like these cappers that predict that the White Sox will win tonight just to say they did it.
Yes, but I won't show the ticket until they win. That's the key, right?
No, I'm only kidding. No, great call, and you've turned me on to the Orioles. You really have. I mean, we bet on them at home. I liked them at home. They just were so dreadful for a while. But no, Donnie, you were dead right with this team. Great way of turning us all on to Baltimore.
Yes, I'm always going to save those hate mails for posterity right when they come back. So we'll see if we can get that at a later time. We'll keep it moving, Jeff. We got looks like 5 more games on the card, 9-21, 9-22. Detroit and Pittsburgh. We got Boyd and Kuehl on the mound, 61%. Jeff, are backing the home team here. The Pittsburgh Pirates opened up at -155, getting some decent line movement, Jeff, up to 169 in some spots. If we take a look down the board, 161 at Bet Online, 164 at 5 down. So a strong home favorite here. Over under opened up at 9, currently bet down to 8.5. Kuehl's home starts, Jeff, 5.23. His overall last 3 games, 2.95. You get what you get typically with Kuehl, sometime between a 4 and a 5 ERA. He's not a guy typically that's going to go long. You might expect maybe 5-6 innings out of him, 2 to 3 earned runs is a typical start. Boyd's road starts, Jeff, a 5.61 ERA. since coming back. Looks like 4 innings, 3 earned runs, 7 innings, 3 earned runs, 6 innings, 3 earned runs. So he's putting together some quality starts, but taking Detroit on the road is always a little bit different. I might lean here in taking Pittsburgh, but again, Jeff, 169 for Chad Kuhl. Some of these things just don't weigh out for me, man.
Yeah, there's been a long odyssey with Detroit for me. I made some money last week taking them in the first 5 against the Yankees. They had won 4 in a row, Donnie. Remember, against Tanaka and against Baltimore in one of those games. But they've lost 3 in a row. These attractive underdog prices, Donnie, have looked good. I mean, you look at tonight, another attractive price here for Detroit, but the wheels have just fallen off. I mean, they're so inconsistent. They win 4 in a row, then they lose 3. Kuhl has been absolutely fantastic, and not only recently, but you look at since July 1st, Donnie, an ERA of 2.7 for Kuhl really has done great. Again, the problem though I have here is you're laying a big price here with a team that's not very good, and you look at in Kuhl starts this year, Pirates are 8-14. So I don't want to do it, but I feel like almost I need to continue to bet Detroit at these underdog prices. I mean, it's hard to not do that tonight, isn't it? I mean, especially with Detroit. I mean, their lineup's still decent. I mean, Boyd's not horrible, I guess.
And if Pittsburgh go off at the plate, I mean, you know what I mean? You could pick – what do you got out of Pittsburgh nightly, Jeff? 3 to 4 to maybe 5 runs, if that?
Yeah, listen, I think I'd continue to ride first 5. But, again, against Pittsburgh, you might even look at full game for Detroit. I think – it's hard to not get involved with that. But, again, it could be the book saying, hey, we're going to keep putting out these prices and we're going to keep grabbing all of you and taking your money every night because Detroit's just not a very good team. So, for me, I might just stay away here. Big man, do you know any – tell me about Hellickson. You can break down your thoughts. Donnie, you and I would both agree Hellickson's just – he's a good pitcher to have. He's not going to get crushed. He kind of keeps it close to the back. He's
going to give you 5 – exactly. You're saying it right on there, Jeff. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. He was a Philly.
No, I was just saying, you can see that he's not a power pitcher. He hits his spots. The factor I like to call blow-up ability is typically low. What are you going to get out of him? Usually what, Jeff? 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 6 innings, 3 earned runs, keeping the ball game, which is exactly what you want if you're looking at an underdog type. Because if he gives you, Jeff, let's just say you went out tonight and you had Hellickson, you bet against the Angels. He gave you 6 innings and 3 earned runs. You'd say, you know what? I think I got a really good shot at winning this ball game. So that's what I always look at when I'm backing an underdog.
Yeah, it's just for him and for me, I do like him on Baltimore. I didn't. Again, it's a better.
And he's used to the American League. This isn't a shock to his system. I mean, he was in Tampa for a while.
Yeah. Again, I don't mind Hellickson.
Nope. Next, let's keep it moving, Jeff. Maybe here you go. I know you love this one. Texas on the road versus the New York Mets. Why? Cash Cashner versus Chris Flexen, 76%, Jeff. We're on the road. Texas Rangers here. Opened up -107, Jeff. What's Chris sitting at? -111. What's BetOnline sitting at, Jeff? -111. 24% of the public backing Flex. I mean, why the hell not, Jeff? Flexen's been sensational. 3 innings, 5 earned runs. 3 innings, 3 earned runs. Like, who would not back Flexen at this point? Which, again, scratch your head and say, wait a second here. Flexen is a favorite tonight. Watch out for that false flag there. We take a look at some interesting numbers in this game. Bullpen's not very good. Road games for Texas, Jeff, almost a 5.5 ERA. The New York Mets at home, bullpen, 4.13. Both of these pitchers have a tendency to get hit around. But the one interesting thing, Jeff, is sometimes we don't give Cashner enough credit. Last 3 starts, a 2.37 ERA. 18 games this year, Jeff, 3.36. So hold on, let me get this straight. An American League Ball Club coming in, going against a tomato can pitcher. When your pitchers have been having a decent year and coming over to the National League where there's no DH, and the other team is a favorite here, whoa, boy.
Look, I haven't really done a ton of research in saying that I have a lot to say on other players. You can make an argument that Andrew Cashner's been the comeback player of the year.
Yeah, and I know the best part about Jeff is you've railed on him for like 5 or 6 straight starts, and sometimes you're doing the same thing. Like, you know what? I think I just have to give him some props for a while.
No, I've railed at him a lot. Last year, he made my list of fade pitchers. Mm-hmm. The running joke was Cashner has not been cashing. I mean, but you look at this year. I mean, he's just been absolutely marvelous. I mean, he's a guy that you just wait every start to say he's going to get crushed. He's going to get crushed. And he never does. Comeback player of the year has been Andrew Casher, in my opinion, especially from a pitcher standpoint. He has been great. And you look at in this spot, the Mets have lost 7 of 8. They're hitting 212.
There you go.
Flexen's been a mess.
Yep, there you go.
Starts, both, though, on the road, Flexen has struggled. One of them was in Coors. I get a weird feeling tonight he's really good in this game. I don't know why.
That line is screaming. Like, if you're a false flag gambler, contrarian guy, this game is screaming at you right now.
Plus, we all know the Rangers are dreadful on the road from the plate. 219. This has a making of a way where Flexen is 5 2/3 of 2-hit ball. They come out, give him a standing ovation at home. But, here's the problem with
standing O.
Here's the problem with Flexen, Donnie.
Yeah.
Though he has not distinguished himself, the Mets don't have any other options with Flexen. He's got to pitch well, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I hear you. I hear you. And that's just one of those things that I'm looking at saying, Jeff, it has all the makings that make you want to scratch your head, and then you look at the line, you're like, you know what? I think we might have something.
Yeah, I'd be on the Metropolitans here.
Next up here, Jeff, Colorado, Cleveland, Kluber, Marquez, 68% back in the home team. Cleveland Indians, again, not a surprise. But the line opened up, Jeff, at Chris at 200. It's now 241. So some massive line movement. Bet online 240. 5 dimes 235. Sportsbook.com 245. Marquez on the road hasn't been bad, Jeff. 3.86 ERA. Kluber through 11 starts at home, a 2.22. Obviously, it's a name game here. We all know how good Kluber is. Can Marquez go on the road and show up? The one thing that we always laughed at, Jeff, me and you, Coors home, Coors away for the Colorado Rockies. Completely different team, but they're an American League type built team that can hit Colorado, but we'll see if they can do it on the road versus a dominant pitcher in a different environment than Coors Field here.
Yeah, I really have a side for this game, but I do want to discuss, Donnie, the inability of Cleveland to cover big numbers. You look at overall, if you back Cleveland in every game this year, you're down 21 units. So just pointing that out. But you look at this number. As a home favorite of 175 to 250, Cleveland's down 10 units this year at backing them at this price. If you're backing them still at prices like this, you really should maybe hit GA, honestly. I don't really see the reasoning on doing it. There's no sort of backing on why you would want to do it. They've not done it. They've not taken care of business at all at this number. You look at right now, Cleveland's lost 5 of 7. Again, Donnie, back to being inconsistent. This is what Cleveland's doing. It's August 8th, and they're still inconsistent. At what point are we going to say, other than Corey Kluber, they don't really have much? How many? Yeah. Again, I was very high on this team coming into the year. I thought they were a resurgent. I thought they had a lot to prove, but they just really haven't been very good. I don't know how else to say it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I really like Colorado in this spot. I think Marquez has been one of their better pitchers. Yeah. I like this lineup. Would it surprise me if they can hit Kluber? No, it wouldn't. Yeah. And now, Donnie, you have a bet on bullpen all of a sudden. You add Nishak. You got guys like Rusin in that bullpen. You have Greg Holland on the back end. They can close games out now. For me, I think at this price, you have to play the Rockies due to the inability of Cleveland to be consistent at all when laying numbers like this.
Next up here, 2 games left on the card. Milwaukee, Minnesota. Garza versus Alberto Mejia, 68% back in the road team here. Milwaukee, after a stunning loss last night, being up 4-0, opened up as basically a pick. A little bit more money here coming in, or I should say line movement coming in on the home team, Minnesota Twins, showing up at a -121 at Pinnacle, -119 at Bet Online. So some decent line movement. If you're looking to be a contrarian value better, 32%, as I said, only backing the home team here, Minnesota Twins. Looking at the starts, Matt Garza, 3.89 on his road starts this year, Jeff. 2.30 in his last 3. Garza's pitched fairly well. Mejia's home starts through 11 of them, 5.20. Money coming in on the Minnesota Twins in this one, Jeff. Any thoughts or policies on this one that you want to take a look at after, again, that bad loss by the Brewers?
I'll tell you what, we talked about Cashner.
Yeah.
Look at Garza this year.
Yep.
He's been good as well.
16 games he's been doing it, yeah.
Yeah, how about this? Sano's out, Donnie. both teams are kind of just lost right now. They're doing what they normally do, but the Brewers are still very much involved in the season. I like them in this game. They're an underdog, kind of a false flaggy type of game, but
yes.
The Brewers, I don't know if they are, just because they've been a kind of an even money team for a while. And this looks like to me that books don't trust Matt Garza, but he's continued to defy the logic of books laying him at numbers like this. I might just take the bait here just because I see a team in one direction and I see a team of the Twins going in the absolute other direction. And especially, Donnie, you look at the more competent bullpen here, definitely the Brewers.
No question about it. Jeff, we're going to have what we like to call it, like the X-FIP special next. St. Louis, Michael Wacha versus Jason Vargas, the lefty. 59% of the people out there, public-wise, are backing the Kansas City Royals. Opened up at -107. However, Jeff, violent line swing back to Wacha at -123 at Chris, -117 at BetOnline, -123 at Five Dimes. So you have some really nice movement there. If we take a look at some overall numbers, Jeff, with Wacha and also with Vargas, 3.37 last three starts for Wacha. Vargas, 3.37 in his last three after going over a little bit of a hiccup in the last game out there in Milwaukee, a 2-1 loss for Wacha. Before that, a 1-0 winner with Arizona. I did have that game. So you have some interesting matchups here. And it looks like maybe St. Louis coming a little bit out of their shell, Jeff, with some offensive explosions the past couple of days. Does it continue today versus Vargas, who, trying to get back on track, so to speak, after a couple bumpy starts a short while ago?
Yeah, you mentioned the line. I mean, like you said, Casey opened a favorite, St. Louis now a favorite. And you got to look at it and say, most casual bettors aren't betting Wacha here. They look at his road numbers and say, I don't want any part of Michael Wacha. I see Jason Vargas. He's been great all year. Royals are buyers. Not really. I mean, they're not going to win anything. They've lost 7 of 10. They're not playing well. I don't like the Cardinals, so I don't bet on them. So I'm not going to here. And you look at Donnie, even when I bet against them, I lose. I mean, I just can't get them right. So for me, there's a stay away, but I do get what you're saying.
Yeah, Jeff, let's wrap up the baseball credit for what we have today. A couple false flags I'll be looking at later today, depending on some lineups, Jeff, leaning towards in the direction, maybe a first 5 wager in that Toronto game. Also taking a look at Hellickson with Baltimore, New York Mets at home, and then taking a look at Michael Wacha a little bit later. So those 4 games right there, Jeff, really have my interest on like that flag situation. I like to look for, try to narrow it down, see if we can get some odds and ends. What are you leaning towards today, Jeff?
I'm going to be looking at the Mets. I'm going to be looking at Colorado against Cleveland. And I'm also going to be looking at some of those unders we talked about, maybe New York, Toronto, Dodgers, Arizona. By the way, Donnie, I'm very much like Adrian Beltre when it comes to my hair or head. So good point.
No, you're not supposed to tell. You're not supposed to tell people that, because now we will all grab your head when we see it.
Well, it's fine. They'll get a fucking backhand in the face. So don't do it. By the way, Donnie, last thing before we go, we got a big show tonight. Al Bernstein will join us from Showtime Boxing. He'll discuss Mayweather-McGregor. We'll discuss everything big going on in boxing. Make sure you're listening. We get a big-time guest tonight. Also, tomorrow, soccer season officially begins tomorrow. Our first EPL rundown. We'll break down each Premier League game, Donnie, every game. Me and Natalie Rodsham, Alex from Need for Tennis will be there as well. A lot going on at SBR. Tune in tonight, though, 10 o'clock Eastern, where we break down everything that happened today in Major League Baseball. 10 o'clock. Join us.